Um, Most surprising team, Dalton. What we mean by this is like what team was kind of like not on the radar, and maybe a little bit, but like they've far exceeded expectations through the first month of the season.
For me, I would say the Tennessee Volunteers. And here's the reason
Okay.
why. Here's the reason why. I was not super high on Tennessee coming into the year. I'm going to tell you their starting lineup and just tell me if you can just tell me what players have come back last year. So point guard Zakai Ziegler, shooting guard Chaz Lanier,
Gone.
small forward Darlin Stone Dubar,
Gone.
power forward Igor Milicic Jr., and center Felix Akpara.
Akpara has come back and nobody else.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you tell me any team in the nation, you tell me you're replacing 4 of your starting 5, I'm going to say you're probably not going to have a great year. Now, I know Tennessee is a solid basketball program, and you could say, oh, well, the same thing happened to Duke. That there are 2 different stories between Duke and Tennessee. Duke is a blue blood. Tennessee is not. And I know Rick Barnes is a great coach, but I did not think they would be as good as they were. I honestly think Tennessee is better than Kansas. They just slipped up. They had that game in their hands the whole entire game until the very end.
I agree.
They got Nate Ament and Jacoby Gillespie. Nate Ament, freshman, who's been really good for them, and Jacoby Gillespie has been their best player easily.
Awesome, dude.
He has been great for them, and I didn't know this. He grew up in Tennessee, wanted to play for Tennessee.
Didn't get recruited?
Did not get recruited by Tennessee. Went to Maryland, transferred to Tennessee after his great year at Maryland last year, but he has been their best player all season, and they didn't handle Houston, but they looked great against Houston.
Yeah,
Houston's always going to be a good team as well. So they have really impressed me. And like I said, they lost to Kansas. I think that they are top 10, though.
Yeah.
And probably going to be one of the top teams in the SEC. I'd probably say top 3 for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Dude, you're these guys in the chat are going nuts.
Of course they are.
Like going nutso.
Just ignore them.
So Dalton, I think that when you were talking about that, one of the biggest differences to me, or the biggest thing that stands out to Tennessee, their use of the portal. Like, think about it. They got Dalton Connect a few years ago, stud. They got Chaz Lanier last year, stud. They've got Jacoby Gillespie this year, stud. Like, and they just keep hitting in the portal every single year. Plus, they're bringing in, an elite freshman this year, and Nate Ament. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with my most surprising team is Michigan State, and we've just talked about them. They're in my top 5 teams. They're number 5 for me. I did not expect them to be a good team, and we've talked about this a million times.
Yeah,
how Michigan State does not look good if you just look at their roster, or like if you just saw them out on a court versus like the average college basketball team, you're like, nothing special about Michigan State. Like they just look like, okay, whatever. Like Jackson Kohler. Is that Jackson's his first name?
Yes, Jackson Kohler.
Jackson Kohler. He does not look like a stud, like a guy who's going to get you 15 or 20 a night, but he does, and
averaging 15 and 10.
15 and 10. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he just doesn't look like somebody who would, but he does. He's a good player. Fears, man, he's been great. Really good facilitator. He's scoring some. Like that's a
12 and 10 assist.
Yeah, that's insane. That's got to be leading the nation. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, it is first in assists.
Vixen say that cannot be not leading the nation. They share the ball, evidence right there. They play well together, and I just didn't expect that from them. Like to me, it almost seemed like Tom Izzo's time has passed. His Michigan State teams, they're good but never great. This team looks great. This team looks really good, and they've been really, really surprising to me. And I don't know why I'm shocked by that, because Tom Izzo's an absolute legend.
One of the GOATs.
I mean, definitely one of the greatest of all time. So not shocked thinking about it.
And they have 3 top 16 wins.
Yeah.
When they played Arkansas was number 14.
Dude, they whooped up on Arkansas. They whooped up on Kentucky, whooped up on North Carolina. All of those teams handled them with ease. And those are 3 solid teams. And you can say maybe Arkansas is not as good, but Anyways, they've won those games. They've got some bigger games coming up. You got their schedule pulled up, Dalton?
Yeah, I do right here. They have Iowa tonight, which is a Big Ten matchup,
Yeah,
undefeated, and
undefeated.
Iowa's
Yeah,
also undefeated. We're going to talk about that later, some more later. Then they go play Duke December 6th.
big
Then,
game.
then they don't really play anybody. They play Penn State, which I don't really know anything about Penn State. They don't play anybody until January when they play USC, who is number 24 as of right now.
Still, that game against Duke, I think, is going to be a really good,
Oh yeah,
really good measurement of where they're really at.
of where both teams are really at.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that was our most surprising team. Now, who's your most disappointing team? Like, who's the team that we came into the season? All right, this team's going to be really, really good, and they've just fallen flat so far, or not met expectations so far.
Yeah, so we talked about this last night as well, and I was trying to kind of battling back and forth who I was going to go with, and I ended up landing on Texas Tech. Now, they lost their second best player in Darren Williams. He ended up transferring
Really
to
good player, NC State.
NC State. Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah,
I have no idea
I don't
why.
know.
And they lost some other great players like Chance McMillan, who was a really good player for them
Player.
last year.
Yeah,
But I still thought with JT Toppin and getting transferred Donovan Atwell, I think he was at UNC Greensboro, if I remember correctly.
Greensboro.
And they had some players return too. They didn't just lose everybody. I thought they were going to be a really solid team. But I think they're really going to struggle in the Big 12 this year.
Big 12 is going to be tough.
The Big 12, we said at the beginning of this podcast that the Big 12 is probably the best division this year in basketball.
Yeah, best conference for sure.
Best conference, I mean.
Yeah.
And I just think there's too many ranked teams to say anyone else. If there was anyone else, I think you'd have to say Big 10 this year because I don't think the SEC quite has the depth that they did last year.
No. It's Big 12, Dalton, for sure.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of this program. I'm a huge fan of their coach. He's a really good coach. He's kind of come on the scene really quickly. I mean, yeah. But losing to Purdue by 30 while only putting up 56 points.
Yikes.
And then beating Wyoming by only 4 points.
They struggled with somebody else. I think it was maybe Milwaukee in the first half.
It's not a good look. Let me look real quick. I can look at that.
It was somebody it was a like a mid-major team that they were struggling with in the first half and maybe into the second. I think it was Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean they only beat Wake Forest by 1. Sounds familiar.
Michigan.
And they ended up beating Milwaukee by 17, but it probably was.
It was close. It was close for
a while. I thought that beginning of the season, if you would have said like, oh, what's Texas Tech going to do in the Big 12? I would have been like, oh, they're probably going to be top 5 all season. Now I kind of see them like lower half, bottom half.
They may not be ranked, Dalton.
They seriously might fall out of.
I mean, think about I think they play 18 conference games. What would you say their predicted Big 12 record is going to be?
I mean, I'm going to look at their schedule and maybe I can give you a better look. So
I'll just tell you right now.
Yeah,
I think they're going. If it's 18 conference games, I think they're going 8-10 or 9-9 in conference.
Yeah,
that's my guess. They're not finishing above. They're not finishing above Kansas, Iowa State, BYU.
Is Houston in the Big 12?
Houston, yeah, definitely not Houston. Not even close. And there's some other teams. I mean, TCU. I mean, they've shown they can beat Florida, although they've had some bad games themselves. But
Texas Tech legitimately might lose the next 3 of their 4 games. Listen to this. They got to play LSU. LSU's undefeated.
They could lose that game.
I'm not saying they're incredible, but they're undefeated. Then they play number 25 Arkansas. They play Northern Colorado, whatever. And then they play Duke.
Oh, that's definitely a loss.
Yes. So you're looking at I think if Texas Tech can beat if they can go 1, I guess 2 if you count the Northern Colorado. If you can go 2-4 in the next 4 games, I think they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Because they just have not looked good. And JT Toppin is like, if you talk about the definition of carrying, like putting someone on your back, he is carrying.
That's the problem, Dalton. That's the problem. I think they were so reliant on Obi. Goodness. JT Toppin that they're so reliant on him that like nobody else can like even produce offensively. Like, and it's like, you can't rely on one player. Like
No.
you just cannot put everything on one guy's shoulders, and that's what
Yeah.
they're doing. Nobody else can score, you
Yeah,
know?
he's averaging 22 points a game, which is 10th in the nation, and 11 rebounds per game, which
He's
is
a
tied for 7th in the
he's a
nation.
beast. He is
Yeah,
a
he is
beast.
so good.
I think they'll make the tournament, but they'll be at like a 8 or 9 seed.
Yeah, I
Maybe even
agree.
a 10. I mean, like, they're gonna shock somebody just because they have
Yeah,
JT Toppin. They're gonna beat
yeah,
some good teams, but, like, they're gonna lose a lot of games this year.
yeah.
If they had Williams transferred to NC State, I would say they'd be much
Oh, yeah, I
better.
wouldn't even be mentioning this, and
Yeah.
I think they'll end up probably total at least a 10-loss team, most likely.
Oh, yeah,
They
for
already
sure.
have 2 losses, so I almost guarantee they're gonna lose 8 more.
They're gonna lose, yeah, they're gonna lose.
Probably 10 to 13 losses total for this team this year.
They're losing all those games we just talked about with Houston,
Yeah,
BYU, Kansas, Iowa State.
yeah.
I mean, I don't see them winning
They
any of those
might
games.
could win one of those,
But they
maybe.
play some of those. They're gonna have to play some of those games twice.
Oh, yeah, they played BYU twice. BYU to end the season.
They're losing, yeah, losing that game for sure.
Yeah,
All right, that's a good one. Texas Tech's a good one. Mine is Kentucky.
yeah.
And I'll be honest, I wasn't as high on Kentucky as a lot of other people were. Like people were saying, like before the season, oh, this is a national championship contender. This is a Final Four contender, definitely in the SEC. You know, they got the Player
Mhm.
of the Year in Otega Owe. You know, this is going to be the team. And I didn't see it personally. Like, definitely thought they were going to be a good team, especially with Owe back. Okay, this is going to be a good team. I didn't see top 5. I didn't see national champion contenders, or they're going to contend in the SEC. Like they'll be in the top 5. I don't see them winning the SEC even. But it's not just like the fact that they've lost a couple of games. It's the way they've looked in
Uh,
those games against Michigan State. Just got handled, you know, by those guys. And for some reason, I'm drawing Michigan. Did I say Michigan State yet?
yeah, you meant Louisville. They played Louisville as
Louisville.
well.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Michigan State and Louisville. They lost both
yeah.
those games. And I know they only lost to Louisville by 8,
Yes.
but it was not that close. It was
No.
not an 8-point game. Louisville had that game in the bag, like by halftime, pretty much. Like it was ugly. It was out of hand. And the same with Michigan State. Like by halftime, you're like, this game's over. Like they lost by 17, I think, or something like
Mhm.
that to
17.
Michigan State. Like it's not that again that they just lost. It's they're not even competitive in these big games. And I don't know, man. This team, they look very underwhelming. Now, all this could change. You're playing North Carolina tonight, and they could turn it on and beat them. Although I don't think North Carolina is an elite team either. But I'm just disappointed in Kentucky and Mark Pope because you
Yeah.
kind of expect more out of them. Even though I didn't expect as much as others did, I still expected more. And the way they've looked has just been pitiful, in my
Yeah.
opinion.